Hello folks, this is going to be a little different kind of video today. I want to show you my latest woodworking project. I recently bought this trailer, Doolittle trailer. It's 7 feet wide and 12 feet long. My wife, as you can see from this clutter in this corner of my man cave, but that's a topic for a different discussion, is in real estate, and she also does property management. And in connection with that property management, she does a lot of landscaping and lawn, tree trimming and bush trimming and all that sort of stuff, none of which I want to do. But at any rate, she's always hauling all that yard waste to the mulch site. She's throwing it in the back of her work pickup and trying to tarp it down, and it's just kind of a pain, actually. So now that we have this trailer, she'll use this trailer. She's a pretty good trailer backer, having backed my boat trailer up for many years. But she'll use this trailer. And so I got to thinking about, well, there's got to be a better way to tarp that yard waste down than having to throw a tarp over and strap it down and take it off and put it back. And so I went online and I started looking at these roll-up tarp devices. They're pretty expensive, I'll tell you, several $100s. And so I got to thinking about it and I thought, well, maybe I can just make one of those. I don't, you know, probably the better way to do it would be to make it out of metal, but I don't have any metal working skills. I don't have any metal tools. But I do have about this much knowledge of woodworking, and that's about it. But I got a few basic tools. So I started trying to design a little deal out of wood, and I did it. And I've put this thing together, and I want to show it to you. It's, you can make this thing really cheap. Get you a 12-foot long 2x10, some enamel paint to paint it, or I guess you could make it out of treated wood and not paint it. I wanted to paint it to match the trailer. So I got a 12-foot long 2x10. I've got a closet pole, just a standard old closet pole. I went to Home Depot, bought my lumber, bought an 8-foot closet pole. The biggest one they had, I think it's 1 3/8 inches. And so I went to work. Now, of course, you got to have a tarp. And I went online and I found this company called Zorro, Zorro.com, and I'll put a link to their website in the description below. But I thought, well, I need something longer than 12 feet because if you pile some stuff up, then you're going to need it longer so you can drape it over. I didn't know how long, but I bought this black mesh, sort of plastic coated tarp. I really like this thing, from Zorro. It's 7 feet wide and 16 feet long. And I think I paid like $103 for it. That was tax and shipping and the whole deal. And they were good. I mean, I ordered it and within 2 or 3 days it arrived at my house. And it's got grommets all along the ends and the sides. So with that tarp and that minimal lumber, I went to work. And I'll show you this thing in a little closer detail. Okay, so the first thing I did is I just took that 2x10 and I cut it to the length that I'd calculated that I wanted. And so the inside dimension from this point inside here to the inside on the other end down there is 86 inches. I wanted it to be long enough to have a couple of inches on each end of the tarp, so you got some play when you roll that tarp up. As you can see, you're never going to roll it up exactly even on the end, so I left a little room to have some play in there. So it's 86 inches to the inside dimension here. And so, of course, with these 2x, they're actually 1.5 inches in thickness. So it's 89 inches from the outside dimension from here to the outside of the other end. I cut this piece. It's 13.5 inches tall. I did just a half lap connection here, or joint, and I just screwed it, put 3 screws on the end and glued it. I came down and drilled a hole in each end big enough for this closet pole to have some room to turn freely. And then I cut a couple of 10-inch pieces of my 2x10, and then I used my router and a router circle jig that I bought from Rockler Tools, and I cut these two, they're 9-inch circles out of that 2x10. And then I drilled a hole in the end just about the same size, or maybe just a little smaller than this closet rod, because I wanted that to fit in this round piece very tight. So I drilled that hole just a little smaller than the closet rod, and then I sanded the end of the closet rod just enough for it to press fit in pretty tight. I didn't want to glue that, because if I ever want to take this thing apart, I'll need to get this end piece off. So what I did is I took my Kreg jig and I just drilled a hole in here, and I've run a Kreg screw in through that dowel into the other side to hold that in place. Now, I've done that, as you can see, on both ends. Probably overkill. You probably don't have to have a great big circle here or something just to hold this in place, but I thought, why not? I'm doing it, so I did the exact same thing on this end. Now, my handle here is just part of an old broom handle I had in the shop. I just cut it so that it's 7.5 inches long, so I've got a 6-inch handle out here, and I've drilled a hole in my round circle piece there to press fit that in, and I glued that in. That's in good and tight. I did the same thing here. I got a Kreg screw in there so that I can remove either end if I want to. And then I thought, well, I need some way to secure that tarp when you get it where you want it, so it doesn't continue to unroll. So what I did is, at Home Depot while I was there buying the lumber, I actually bought 2 of these. They're just clevis pins, if I'm saying that right. Clevis, whatever it is. Here's the package that they came in. They're just 3/8 inch by 4 3/4 inch clevis pins that were in the, I think in the trailer hitch section of Home Depot. But at any rate, so I drilled a hole in this outer circle on my drill press before I assembled it, so it'd be a perfect 90 degrees to the face of my round piece. And then after I got it all put together, I just took my drill and drilled all the way through this back piece as well. And then I rotated this and I drilled a hole at every 90 degrees so that I can turn it, and if I need to secure it at a different location, depending on how tight I want my tarp, I've got different spots to do that. So I don't know if you can see it, but I've got a hole here and a hole down here and one on this side. And then I did, again, overkill, I did the same thing on this side. But so I've got a hole here and here and here and here. And I marked those so you can line up where the hole is on this part to where the hole is on that part. And they correspond with one another. But then I just got these little strap-like things I had in the shop to hold that tarp in place when I'm running down the highway. But you can just take these off and you're ready to take your clevis pins out. And you're ready to unroll it. So here you go, you got everything unstrapped. I've got it rolling so it rolls from the bottom. But you can just get it going and pull it down. I put in just a couple of little clips here on this end. I may need to change this and maybe put a eye bolt here, open eye bolt, hook that too. But just bring your tarp over all your cargo, whatever that might be. Snap that down there. And then you can come back, of course, on either side and tighten that up to wherever the nearest hole is I've got here in the deal. And that's in there, secure, ready to go. If you've got it up high and you want to put a bungee cord on one of those side grommets and run it to the trailer, you can do that. Then you get where you're going, unhook, get rid of your debris. Is to unhook your snaps or whatever you've got on the end. You can use a bungee cord or whatever. You got your tarp there. Just come to either side. Remove your clevis pin. And then just start cranking. And there you go. You got your tarp retracted. Strap it down again with your little cords, whatever you decide to use. Put your clevis pins back in. Everything's in good and secure. You're ready to roll on down the highway. Oh, and I should tell you, I guess, I didn't show you. All I did, because that closet rod, of course, is wood, I'll unroll this all the way to show you how I attached this. Because this closet rod, of course, is also wood, first thing I did is I laid a straight edge beside this pole, and I took a Sharpie, a gray Sharpie, and I drew a straight line all the way down. You could do that with a chalk line or whatever, but I got a good straight line. And then I just took the edge of the tarp and I drilled and then screwed it to that closet rod with these little screws here that's got a little bigger head on them. But that worked great. They went in, they've got it good and secure. Of course, I've got my tarp long enough that I don't think I'll ever unroll it all the way to the end, so that'll give it some strength. So, but anyway, I think that's it. I think I covered everything I did. I just painted all the wood, of course, with that enamel paint so it won't rot. Cut it, hooked it, screwed it. So anyway, that's my design. I'm sure you can probably come up with a better one, but a little 2x10, some black paint, a few clevis pins, and a closet rod and a tarp. Pretty cheap, I'll tell you. Of course, the tarp was the most expensive part, but tarps are what tarps are. You can get a cheaper one, I'm sure, than what I bought. But and then I should have told you, I just secured this base down to the trailer with some 1.5 inch 5/16 slag bolts. I just drilled 4 holes along the top rail of the trailer, screwed it in from the bottom, and it's on there. If I ever want to take it off, it's just simple, take the 4 bolts out and lift it off. I think it's going to work out okay. We'll see. I have to put my wife to work. Thanks for watching.